Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Montreal Canadiens fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. I've got some exciting stuff to talk about today. If you've been following the Canadiens closely, you know that the offseason is always a pivotal time for this franchise, and this year it's no different. The Canadiens, after a season that surprised many, including myself, are gearing up for what could be a crucial summer. And let me tell you, the buzz around the Bell Center and hockey circles in general is heating up because the Canadiens are eyeing some serious upgrades. We're in a moment where the team's trajectory could take a giant leap forward, or, if things don't go as planned, it could set them back a bit. So let's unpack what's happening, what might happen, and why this could be one of the most important off-seasons in recent Montreal Canadiens history. First, to set the scene, this past season was quite a roller coaster for the Canadiens. Coming into 2024-25, expectations were modest, especially considering the significant rebuild the team has been undergoing over the last couple of years. But what happened? Montreal defied the odds. They not only made the playoffs, but did so in a manner that had many fans and analysts alike scratching their heads. It's a testament to the core of young talent that GM Kent Hughes has been building. Players like Cole Caulfield, Juraj Slavkovsky, and especially the emergence of Ivan Demidov, the Russian phenom who has already shown he can be a game-changer. Montreal's roster, while still developing, proved that they could compete with the league's best. And that's exactly why this summer's moves are so critical. They want to build on that momentum and push even further. Now, focusing on the current buzz, the latest whispers from insiders like Elliotte Friedman, who, let's be honest, is one of the most reliable sources in hockey, point to the Canadiens' clear intent to add a forward this offseason. Yeah, you heard that right. The Montreal Canadiens aren't just looking to tinker around the edges, they want to make a statement. The goal, as Friedman suggests, is to bring in a young forward who can not only contribute immediately, but also grow alongside Ivan Demidov for years to come. That's a key part of their plan, because, let's face it, Montreal has a lot of promising young talent, but adding a proven or high-upside forward would help solidify their top six and give them that extra edge in tight playoff games. What makes this even more interesting is how GM Kent Hughes has been operating over the last couple of seasons. Since taking the helm, Hughes has shown a knack for making bold trades. Just look at the acquisitions of Kirby Dach and Alex Newhook, both of whom have added depth and skill to the roster. Hughes isn't afraid to shake things up if it means building a more competitive team. He's got a pool of draft picks and prospects that he can leverage, which puts him in a strong position to make a splash this summer. But the question remains, who will they target? There are a few names that are already circulating in the rumor mill, and one of the most talked about is Marco Rossi from the Minnesota Wild. Rossi, a 23-year-old center, burst onto the scene last season, scoring 24 goals and totaling 60 points in 82 games. That's pretty impressive for a player who's still so young and developing. His playoff performance, 2 goals and an assist in just 6 games, showed that he can handle the pressure when it counts. The Wild, however, are in a tricky spot because Rossi is a restricted free agent, and contract negotiations haven't been smooth. There's a sense that the two sides are far apart, and that has sparked some trade rumors. Montreal, of course, could be a perfect landing spot for Rossi, especially considering their need for a versatile, skilled center who can grow with Demidov. The fit makes sense, not just because of Rossi's age and skill set, but also because he brings a level of speed and offensive flair that Montreal could desperately use. Plus, he's a player who can be a cornerstone for the future. If the Canadiens decide to pull the trigger on a trade, Rossi could be that piece. Now, moving on to another interesting name, Mason McTavish from the Anaheim Ducks. He's a bit less in the limelight, but no less intriguing. McTavish, just 21, has already proven he can score, with 22 goals and 52 points last season in 76 games. That kind of production, combined with his size, standing at 61 and nearly 220 pounds, makes him a perfect fit for Montreal's style of play. The Canadiens have been missing that kind of physical, reliable center who can also contribute offensively. What's more, McTavish's contract situation is similar to Rossi's. He's set to become an RFA on July 1st, and the Ducks might be more open to trade options if they can't sign him long-term. Hughes has a history of pulling off trades that seem risky but pay off big time, and acquiring a player like McTavish could be exactly what the Canadiens need to bolster their top six. Especially considering Kirby Dach's injury struggles, he's spent a lot of time on the IR. Adding someone like McTavish would give Montreal a reliable, big-bodied center who can step in immediately. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture here. The Canadiens are in a unique position. They're not just rebuilding, they're trying to accelerate their timeline. They want to be competitive sooner rather than later, and that means making smart, calculated moves. They have the assets, the prospects, and the cap flexibility to make some bold moves this summer. And don't forget, Montreal's fanbase is hungry for success. After years of rebuilding and patience, they're ready to see their team contend again, and I think this offseason could be the one where they finally make that leap. But of course, not everything is straightforward. Acquiring a player like Rossi or McTavish isn't just about offering a good deal, it's also about fitting into the team's long-term plan. The Canadiens want players who can grow with Demidov, Caulfield, and Slavkovsky. They want chemistry, youth, and talent that can develop together. That's why the emphasis on young forwards makes so much sense. It's about creating a core that can carry the franchise into the next decade. And let's not forget that Hughes has multiple draft picks and prospects in his back pocket, assets that could be used as leverage in negotiations. So, what should fans be watching for? Well, the summer is just beginning, and as we move closer to the draft and free agency, you can be sure that Montreal's name will be front and center in many rumors. Will they pull off a blockbuster trade? Will they sign a promising RFA, or will they make a smaller, strategic move to fill specific needs? All of those options are on the table. The key takeaway here is that the Canadiens are serious about taking another step forward, and this offseason will be critical in shaping their future. If they manage to bring in the right players, especially a dynamic young forward or two, they could be looking at a playoff run that's even more impressive than this past season. And with the core they're assembling, the possibilities are exciting. Now, to all of you watching, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think the Canadiens should go all in for Rossi or McTavish? Or maybe there's another name out there that you believe could be a perfect fit? Drop your comments below. Let's get a good discussion going. Your opinions really matter, not just to us, but to the future of this team. Remember, this is a fan-driven channel, and your insights help make this community stronger. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, rumors, and analysis. So stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep supporting our Montreal Canadiens through thick and thin. This team has a bright future, and I genuinely believe that this offseason could be the turning point that brings them closer to that coveted Stanley Cup. Thanks for being with us, and as always, go Habs. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Montreal Canadiens. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Montreal Canadiens news.